Hello,
What?
I just saw you go like that.
I'm sorry, I was just,
Yeah.
it's just my neck's just a bit, I don't like it.
Okay. How was your first class flight back from Dubai?
I wish.
Coming up, as we enter conference season, what is it that's on the agenda and what questions are marketers asking? Hello and welcome to IDCom's MediaSnack, episode 75. 75?
I know.
Today, we kind of, in the middle of April really, we start to enter conference season. So lots of marketing conferences coming up. We're going to talk today about the Festival of Media. So you've just got back from one festival and I'm about to disappear to another. All coming up on today's MediaSnack in just the time it takes to eat a sandwich in first class. Okay, so we're talking about festival season.
Yes, we are.
You got a nice tan, mate. Where have you been?
This is high blood pressure. It's got nothing to do with the sun that I was enjoying in Dubai.
How hot was it in Dubai?
It was about 38 degrees.
Is it?
Very humid.
Hot and up. So, Festival of Media, which, as many of you will know, is a franchise of a whole bunch of different festivals. There's a global, MENA, LATAM, soon to be US, I think. There's an Asia one.
Right.
So you were doing the keynote at the Dubai festival.
So I kind of led off the second section on the first day.
Yeah.
I was talking about pitch best practice.
Yeah.
And using kind of a global perspective on kind of what works both from an advertiser and an agency side in terms of the high stakes environment of pitch management.
Indeed. And who attends these? For those, I mean, I guess many people will have been to a festival. It's been running about 10 years now. But if you haven't been, who goes to a Festival of Media?
Well, I mean, it's a collection of agency stakeholders, media agency stakeholders, and generally very kind of senior marketeers.
Yeah.
In the MENA one, we had representatives from Unilever, Danone, Mondelez, so some big heavy hitters in the region, all providing a really kind of clear point of view. But what I still find the region somewhat of an enigma. As you know, I used to
lived there, didn't
well,
you,
yeah,
for a long time?
I lived in Bahrain, so I used to look after media for the Coca-Cola company across MENA, just over 15 years ago, and so I've got a kind of a deep affection and affinity for the region anyway. Yeah. And having gone back to Dubai, it's amazing. Some things actually haven't changed much in the last 15 years. Yet, in other aspects of media, they seem to have leapfrogged even kind of Western perception. Yeah. So it's a real dichotomy of perhaps old school kind of media challenges, especially when it comes to measurement, offline measurement, and issues around transparency. But when you talk about data and you talk about the ambition for the region to really kind of drive good media practice, I was really impressed.
Yeah, excellent. And so what are the on the MENA agenda? What was on the agenda? What was?
Well, it was the theme of
the
theme of the session was around kind of media transformation.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the agency representatives, Dentsu, were there talking about the agency model of the future. A lot of the brand spokespeople there were talking about the requirement of data and how the agencies should be being really smart about data to help inform strategic thinking. And then they had companies like Moat were there talking about viewability, Snapchat were there, Google were talking about innovations in media. Yeah. So it was about change. The theme, I think, transformation, but it was about change. It was about how within the media region, media is getting more and more important, and all of the stakeholders, marketing and agencies, have to kind of drive this agenda of change.
Yeah. And do you get a sense that it's opening up a bit? I mean, by the times that we've done work within the MENA region, it can be a little bit of a bubble, can't it? I think sometimes, particularly around the industry that's in Dubai. Is it either open to outside influence, or is it even actually, as you say, there's innovation there, which should be spreading out of the region?
I think it's two things. I think traditionally they are still stuck in an inflexible way of operating. But the influx of perhaps Western practice within large global organizations that see MENA as a massive opportunity. I mean, it's got double the GDP growth rate of Western Europe.
Yeah.
So, they see it as a huge opportunity, and I think that influx, that catalyst,
it's back, and it's growing.
Yeah, it really is. And the other thing that, as I said, that impressed me was just the appetite for and the ambition for change, for things that are better. Now, I don't think that they will be able to alter or amend some of the deeply entrenched issues that they have when it comes to offline measurement and some of the perhaps transparency issues they've got. Yeah. But they will just leapfrog that and go straight into perhaps more kind of data-driven richness in terms of their thinking. Yeah. And they have a desire just to be better, I think, that impressed me most in this session.
Yeah, and you were mentioning earlier there was a couple of things that kind of really caught your attention, a couple of brands that you thought were really being articulated, particularly around media, were really interesting ideas.
So, I mean, the regional marketing director for Danone was part of my panel discussion. So after I'd done my presentation, I had a senior representative from MEC come on stage, and Hani Aleida from Danone came on representing the brand community. Yeah. And I asked him, what he was looking for from a media agency partner within the region. And he talked about strategic thought leadership. He talked about integrated media solutions. He never once talked about price. Mm-hmm. He was talking about the desire to have really smart, strategic-led decisions that would drive business growth. So all of the things that we've been talking about.
Media as an investment, media as a lever for growth.
And perhaps that's an influence from kind of the global agenda that Danone have. But it was really progressive, and he was talking about the requirement to raise media capabilities internally to enable his organisation to stress test properly the strategic plans that come out of the agencies. Yeah. And so I think just brands like that pushing, demanding, challenging the agency community can only have a massive impact on the quality of the work that comes out of the region.
Yeah. So one other thing, from a global perspective, if you were a global CMO or a global media director, perhaps for a multinational business with operation in that region, maybe to some extent MENA's been kind of left to its own devices because of its complexity as a region. When it comes to media is really complex in that region for lots and lots of reasons of the complexity, particularly on the vendor side. Yeah. And what should you be thinking? How should you be thinking of MENA now? Is it still that you kind of leave it alone because it works on its own rules, or now really should you be thinking about let's build capabilities in MENA? Maybe we do need to start investing in getting better at media in that region.
I don't think that ring fencing of regions happens anywhere any longer, and I think that a global CMO or a media director or even a CEO should be demanding the same level, the same standards within media, within MENA, as they are anywhere else in the world. So, ensuring that media is considered a lever for growth, making sure that media is accountable for driving some form of business outcome. Now that's a challenge within the region because accountability of media performance has always been somewhat clouded. But with the data that the businesses have got, there was a big telecom company and a big tourist business that I spoke to that drive everything through data. They have an inordinate amount of data, and they are, I think, really progressive in the way that they're organising data to make really smart decisions. So I think in absence of traditional media measurement, they will use data to drive better decision making.
Yeah, excellent. Good to see, because it's always been an exciting region. We want it to be absolutely part of the raising of global standards on media.
So you're attending the Global Festival of Media, somewhere closer to home.
A little bit, yeah. So that's in Rome. So as I mentioned, the Festival of Media, they operate in lots of different regions around the world. They do lots of regional festivals, and then there's the big global one, which is in Rome, Italy, in a couple of weeks' time, actually. So it starts on the 7th of May. And I think the agendas of the festivals are quite well aligned. I mean, it's really transformation. The last few years, really, the festivals have really been thinking about change and transformation. If you haven't been to the Festival of Media, or any of them, I mean, you should check them out. The Rome one tends to be obviously global marketers, similar brands, same kind of caliber of attendees. I think a couple of thousand people, rock up to these things. Last a couple of days, and there's a big awards ceremony as well. So the Festival of Media Awards draw quite a lot of attention. I'm doing a session, a little Q&A session with Jerry D'Angelo from P&G, which should be really interesting. We'll talk about more of that probably after the event. And there's some kind of big names and big brands we're looking forward to getting together, really. So I'll report back on that.
Good.
Probably in a couple of weeks' time.
Look forward to that.
Yeah. Maybe the weather's not quite as good as Dubai, but we'll see. Maybe. Okay, that's all for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you at the Festival of Media. Bye for now.
Have a good weekend.